Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another small block rover that's great for exploration as it comes with all the basics you need for survival mode. We've got survival kits on here, you can clearly see a Gatling turret on top, and then we've got a power saving script. In fact, it's not even a script, it's the event controller that turns off your wheels and gyroscopes as soon as you leave the cockpit in order to save on a bit of power. It also comes equipped with a secondary event controller that when you go above a certain speed, it will activate some thrusters at the front of the ship that face downwards in order to give you extra downforce, try and minimize any kind of airtime you take, and then make sure you're firmly on the ground at all times. So this thing is called the WHI Traveler, which is this lovely thing in the grey and yellow colour scheme. So what we're going to do is now have a quick look through the F10 menu, then we're going to have a look around the outside, drive around for a bit, see how it handles, and I think that'll be that. So the WHI Traveler is 626 small blocks using no DLC packs and no scripts, because the scripts that are on here are set up via the event controller. So we've got one hell of a lot of information about it saying what it can do, what it can't do, and of course its general specifications at the very bottom of the page. So going to give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside like I said, and then we'll go from there. So my character now bugger off just a little bit, there he goes, and this is what we get for the very front of the Traveler. So right in the very middle and of course surrounding the entire vehicle, we've got some lovely dark grey and yellow steel blocks to make up the main body of the ship. We also have some fantastic use of armoured panels also in the yellow colouring, just at the front here to break up all that grey, with two interior lights to light up the darkness. If that's not enough for the darkness, or say you're using a very dark mod, you've got 4 spotlights above the vehicle that'll really light up the general area and make it a lot more safer to drive at night. Moving up slightly, you then see a seat for your passengers to sit on, a gyroscope in the middle that will automatically turn on and off as we get out of the rover cockpit sitting right next to it, and then up and above our passenger seat, there's our 2 event controller blocks, which controls the stuff I talked about just a minute ago. Below that, we then got a battery, and then a small cargo container which has been clearly labelled with tools, and that's one thing I absolutely love about this vehicle. All the containers, all the access points being clearly labelled, so you know exactly what they are, without having to go inside them. So alongside here, we'll then see another access point, but that is for your O2HU generator. Then behind that, a battery. Above it are Gatling turrets. And then behind here, you just about make out a wheel, which is one of 2 spare wheels for you to use on your adventure. This is very handy to have in the event you don't want to actually have the wheel components in a cargo container. So if you were to say lose a wheel, attach one on via the cockpit, you can grind up one of these and then use that to weld up the wheel. Anyway, right next to it is our survival kit, which you'll clearly see when we come around to the opposite side. So there we go. Then over to there, there's our medium cargo container, once again, clearly labelled with an LCD screen. Moving all the way up and looking down, so there's a clear view at our turret on top. Right in front of it, we've got 2 more small cargo containers for you to store ammunition inside, and they link across into the middle section, which is a conveyor that then comes across to the turret to feed it with ammunition. In front of that, that's 2 of our fan atmospheric thrusters, which is going to be for our downforce system, which I talked about at the start of the video with the event controller. We'll see that a bit later on when I actually drive it around. In between then is our antenna, at the front there are spotlights with armoured panels on top, and dropping down coming underneath it. There we go, not going to be able to see too much because it's generally just suspensions, steel blocks, and blaster edge blocks. And there we go, that's a brief look around the outside of the Traveler, and looks great with how it's all been set up. It looks like it'll be a very handy vehicle to have around in survival mode if you don't want to build one yourself, if you don't want to design one yourself. This one, straight out of the box, should function perfectly well for a light bit of exploration. But now grabbing hold of my character, coming all the way over to the seat, but what I'm going to do is now come up like so. Hopefully this will work, with the free camera looking at that gyroscope, now clicking into it. There we go. We now got our gyroscope turned on, so now our event controller kicked in, our wheels are switched on, gyroscope is switched on, and now we're using a bit more power than normal. Because I'll hop out once again, so here we go, like so, free camera, then I'll switch off instantly, and save us on a bit of power in the long run. Anyway, back to my character, probably getting inside, first person view, this is what we see all around us, so we've got a nice clear view of what's coming up ahead of us, and a nice clear view down below the front of the vehicle to make sure we don't run into a rock that randomly spawns out of nowhere. Also down to the bottom here on our rover cockpit LCD screens, we then got all of our controllers so we see exactly what's going on, as well as some important information about our downforce system, where it says enabling downforce improves handling, reduces airtime, but increases power consumption. So it's there if you want to use it, and would be very handy if you aren't driving recklessly, which is what I'm going to do in just a moment. So yes, coming to this, third person view, bring up the HUD, these are our controls. So we're going to have quite a lot of controls for our wheels, but we're not going to touch any of them because they're perfectly fine with how they've been set up by default, but if you do want to play around with yourself, they're all listed on the cockpit screen. but number 2 is going to be for manual control over our parking brake on and off, so we don't have to press P. Number 6 then for your ore detector on and off, so you go out and bound scan for all patches. Number 7 for your antenna on and off. Number 8 for your Gatling turret on top to turn that on and off. Number 9 is then for manual control over it, so we turn that on, take over that, blast your enemies. Coming with that, tab number 2, we then got our downward thrusters, turn them on and off if you want to manually control it. Or number 2 to turn on and off the event controller block if you wanted to do it automatically. So what this thing is going to do is basically undo the parking brake, moving forwards. As soon as we go above 15 meters per second, as you can see, the thrusters have now turned on the top there, come to a stop. They'll then turn off automatically. Like it says on that LCD screen on the bottom left, it's just there to improve handling and to reduce airtime. Anyway, for the other controls, number 4 is then for your lights around the ship, turn them on and off. Number 6 is then for a project block that projects the entire vehicle, so if you do take damage, you can easily repair it up. Number 7 is for your batteries to auto recharge. Number 8 is for your hydrogen engines, turn them on and off. And then number 9 is for your small batteries to auto recharge, if you want to do that. Over to tab number 3, we've got nothing else, so we come across to tab number 8 and tab number 9. Like I said earlier, these are all going to be for our wheels, so I'm not going to touch them. They are just there if you want to have some additional controls to fine tune this vehicle to your personal preference. But yes, undoing the parking brake and making sure that is turned off, there we go. Trying to sing around just by holding forwards, this is what we get. So as you can see, we are not the fastest vehicle in the world moving forwards, but we do get up to a nice lot of speed. As you can see, we're now creeping up to about 60 meters per second. And we're going to, well, keep going up and up and up, because it doesn't look like there's any kind of speed limits on these wheels. And that looks like it's going to be a bit of a problem for this vehicle. No, it seems to be doing perfectly well. We're running at about 90 meters per second. Slamming on the brakes, and that's not going to be very good. There we go, slight little bounce, a little bit of control. And now we're coming to a stop. So that's bloody fantastic, straight off the bat there. Because it managed to survive that, a lot of vehicles were just generally blown up, or from any kind of lumps and bumps at that kind of speed. So yes, that's very impressive without the downforce. Now we do a sharp turn. There we go, all the way around. It will start to lift up even on a flat surface, so moving around once again. There we go, it will start to tip over. Now we come across to tab number 2, switch on that. There we go. Now start turning around once again. The downward force from the thrusters will assist greatly, make sure you can't flip over while doing a tight turn. But what would go super fast once again with them turned on? So we see them now pushing all the way down. And here we go, 60 meters per second, 70, 75. It is starting to veer off slightly. I'm not controlling this whatsoever, I'm just holding forwards on the keyboard. So it's starting to veer off a little bit. There you go, 90 meters per second. We are still firmly on the ground. First person view looks very, very scary, because I can't see what's coming up ahead of me. That looks like it's got to be a little bit of a jump. Here we go, all the way across, onto the ground. And that's one problem of the downward force on the front, but it doesn't look like it's too much of an issue at the end of the day, because it does seem to make it tip forwards quite a lot. There was a random tree, I bounced into that. Now I need to somehow wiggle this around, but I don't think I can. I think that's that for that vehicle. So spawning in another one, here we go. And driving it around once again. So doing that and doing the parking brake. It's doing an absolute fantastic job of running around at high speeds. This would be a great little vehicle for racing around on, say, the Pertam racetrack, the official one. Yes, other than that, it's very self-explanatory what it does. Very useful for the survival mode if you want to have something very quick and, well, seemingly very well handling on any old terrain. Here we go, big jump. Can we survive it? Yes, we can. We took no damage whatsoever. But now we're just flying away there. Our thrusters are assisting greatly with bringing us down to the ground. That looks very dodgy. That looks extremely dodgy. I have no idea how this thing is still in one piece. And there we go. We lost a few steel blocks around the back there. We lost our spare wheels. We've still got a survival kit, medium cargo container, batteries, and all of that. So that was a bloody successful jump and bloody successful landing. But anyway, as I was saying, it's a bloody useful vehicle to use in your world. If you do want to have something that's great for survival mode, for driving around recklessly, as well as having all the important stuff to survive in survival mode against pesky drones, and of course recharge your hydrogen tanks and all of that. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you should download and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.